Welcome back to the 5-Star Agent. My name is Andrew with High Desert Realty. Before we jump into today's topic, I wanted to touch on one really quick thing. There are plenty of people out there that can talk to you about acquiring leads, buying leads, looking for opportunities. That is wildly important, and we will talk about those things. But my main focus here my overarching goal is to help you deserve the clients that you do get. In my experience, what will influence the quantity of transactions that you do more than anything else is the quality by which you serve your people. It's not the quantity of leads that you can acquire. Again, you have to get the opportunities. I get that, and we'll touch on some of those things, but it's all about better service and then being the kind of agent or becoming the kind of agent that your clients deserve. With that said, I want to talk about a topic that I've shared with agents for probably the better part of 10 years. It's a very simple thought, but it needs to stick in your mind as you go throughout the years of your career. That thought is every single interaction is a job interview. That is true from the beginning of a transaction, before you deal with clients or before you start a transaction, through the entirety of it and beyond. Never is it more important than when you're dealing with potential clients. So maybe it's that first interaction. It could be an email, it could be a text, it could be a phone call, it could be a meeting. But I want to touch on what you need to be thinking, as every interaction is absolutely a job interview. Whether they realize it or not, your prospective clients are judging to see if they want to continue working with you. In my experience, clients tend to go with the agent they just begin interacting with. It's almost a default unless there are big red flags, but I don't want to just be a default. I don't want to just be the one they go with because I'm easy and there's no major red flags having to do with me. I want to be the no-brainer. I want to be the one that they say, this guy or gal is good from moment one, because there are many other opportunities for them to work with different agents because we're everywhere. But I want to be the one that they say, yeah, it's a no-brainer to work with this one. They've been solid since moment one. Let me give you an example. So probably, I don't know, maybe 13 years ago, I glanced at my phone at probably about 9:45 at night. I saw a simple email from Trevor. Trevor said, hey, Andrew, I am looking at this property in this neighborhood, wondering what the HOA fee is. I don't see it anywhere. I'd never interacted with Trevor before. I saw that email. I said, that's simple enough. I can get that answer pretty quickly. So hopped on the MLS, found out that it was $98 a month. I'm making that number up. I have no clue what it was. But I looked through the public remarks, private remarks, gained a little bit of knowledge about the property. And then I went back to my email just to type up a simple email that said, hey, Trevor, it's $98 a month. I stopped and said, that might be the worst email I've ever written. I can't send that. I'm just, hey, you asked this one question. I'll give you this super simple answer. Please use me when you decide to buy a home. That's no good at all. With the idea that this is a job interview, what could I do more to better serve him? Again, no brainer. Well, maybe he would like to know what that $98 buys him. So I hopped back on. It wasn't in that agent's listing. Thought for a second, looked at some other listings in that same neighborhood, found out roads, snow removal, front yard landscaping, and there was a park, and it took care of that maintenance, that landscaping as well. Remembered that in the initial listing in the private remarks, I saw that a newer roof was put on. I learned the year that was done, and a new water heater was put in as well. So went back to my email. Maybe that took 10 minutes instead of 3 minutes. Typed up an email. Hey, Trevor, HOA fee is this. It covers A, B, and C. Also noticed this and this. And then gave him maybe a 2-sentence opinion, positive opinion about the home and the area in general. Hit send, fired it off. Half an hour, 45 minutes later, glanced at my email, had an email back from Trevor. All it said was, wow, thanks for jumping on that. That was super helpful. If I want to take a look, I'll let you know. Great. Trevor, I don't believe, ended up buying that home, but did end up buying a home through me. I think it was in that neighborhood. It was a very quick and simple way to pass that job interview. This is not a podcast about having your phone on you at all times. This isn't about at 9:45 at night, at 10:45 at night, be staring at your email, ready to respond to things. To be honest, at this point in my career, I believe that I would have sent him an email back at 9:46 that night, if I'd even see it, that said, hey, Trevor, got your email. This is not an automated message. I'll get back to you first thing in the morning. And then I just would have gotten back to him first thing in the morning. The idea is to be intentional about your responses. Don't just be an order taker. Learn that from a very smart gentleman many years ago. Be better than a Google search. Be better than what AI can provide. Give them a little bit more. Be deserving the money that you are hoping they will pay you down the road. No brainer. I understand it, but remember it. Be intentional. To be honest, it's a little bit easier to do that when you're newer in your career. And as we get a little older in our career, we tend to do those types of things a little bit less and seeing these opportunities just as opportunities, not humans that could use some additional information and help. So you can apply that in many different spaces. One other, maybe the other side of that same coin, I wanted to talk quickly about a thing that I've learned far more recently than the better part of 10 years ago. When I am interacting with agents that I have done a deal with before, I didn't even notice I was thinking this, but it happened pretty subtly that I would go, I've worked with that agent before. It was a good experience. I like that. Or the opposite. I have found myself several times talking with clients and saying, actually, to be honest, in addition to everything that we've already talked about, I've done a deal with this agent and we're in good hands if we move forward with this. Now, if you are newer in the business, again, you might be thinking like who you are, whatever your name is, isn't going to be a factor in somebody buying or selling a home. It's not the price. It's not a major term. I agree with you. But if you've been in the business for a while, it is absolutely a factor. Understanding for good or for bad who you're dealing with on the other side is something that plays a role in the decision process. All things equal, I'm going to encourage my people to deal with someone that I've dealt with before and that was easy to work with. And you might go, well, that's unfair. I'm going to suggest it and we're going to talk about it. And it won't be the determining factor, but it will be a factor in the thought process. So as we're dealing with anyone in our transactions, but specifically the other agent, you need to understand that it's a job interview for your next transaction with them. Be the type of agent that when they see your name on a buyer's offer, they go, that's going to be good. Or when they see you as the listing agent, they are excited that their client is interested in that property. If you don't remember anything else from this podcast, remember this last thought. This one's hard to do. This one takes some work. With the thought that every interaction is essentially a job interview with the other agent, I find that is extremely difficult for agents on competing sides to actually broker deals. It is easy. It's way easy to just be a stick in the mud and say, this is what my seller wants. This is what we're doing. This is why we think. This is why. This is why. It's difficult to find a middle ground and have some open and honest conversation with the other broker. I'll give you another example. I'm on the buyer side. We got a listing agent. No offense to anybody in this transaction. They're sticking around the $900,000 mark. We're around the $850,000 mark. That's a big canyon, $50,000. But I am hopeful that we can find a way to bridge that. I have called the other agent and just hoped to have an open and honest conversation. What's most important to your seller? Here's where my buyer is coming from. Let's talk this through and let's see if something falls out that is of worth to help us broker this deal. Am I sharing things that I should not? No. Is he sharing things that he should not? No. But to be honest, right in this moment, it's a lot of, well, this is why we think we're 900,000. This is why we think we're 900,000. And there's no meeting of the minds in the middle. Is it going to for sure put a transaction together if we can have an open and honest conversation in the middle? No, but it is wildly helpful. And as we learn that skill, we are serving our clients better. It is not shattering your fiduciary responsibility to have a discussion in the middle with the other broker. Am I showing all of my cards? No. Is he? No, and we shouldn't. But one of the reasons we have a job is that buyer and seller usually wouldn't be able to come together in the middle and have an open and honest conversation. Brokers are doing their job when they can come together in the middle and they can talk things through and see if there's a way to get through this, see if there's a way to shrink that gap. We are not doing our jobs if we don't do that. As a recap, just remember, every interaction is a job interview, no matter who you're dealing with them, when you're dealing with them. Remember that fact. Let's keep learning. Let's keep growing. Until next time, let's go get some clients. Let's become the agent those clients deserve, and let's go sell some homes.